Today I'll speak about the Alazh movement and the creation of Alazh autonomy. Our story begins with change in the Russian Empire. The 1905 revolution opened public life, and later World War I and the 1960 decree brought crisis to the steppe. In 1970, the February Revolution gave hope for self-rule, while the October Revolution created chaos and a need for lawful order. In this context, a new Kazakh intelligentsia, Alixan Bukikhanov, Ahmet Baytursunov, Mirjaqub Tulatov, Muhammadjan Tanishbayev, and others turned ideas into action. They worked through newspapers, congresses, and the law to protect land, education, and rights. Before the Alazh autonomy, two shocks reshaped the steppe. First, the revolution of 1905 woke political life. Kazakh petitions demanded schools in Kazakh, protection of land, and freedom to publish. Young intellectuals began spending deputies to the Duma and building a public sphere. Second, World War I and the 1960 conspiration decree deepened crisis. Then the February Revolution of 1970 opened space for self-government, while the October upheaval brought chaos, creating a need for lawful order. Who led these new courses? Alixan Bukikhanov, a St. Petersburg's trained economist and geographer, became the movement's strategist. Ahmet Baytursunov, linguist and editor of the newspaper Kazakh, shaped language, schooling, and public debate. Mirjaqub Tulatov, writer and organizer, rallied society through print. Engineer Muhammadjan Tanishbayev and the Dosmuhamedov brothers, physicians and jurists, brought technical and legal experience. Together they turned ideas into institutions, setting the stage for December 1970 and the creation of Alazh Orda.
In 1917, after the February Revolution, Kazakh intellectuals moved from journalists and public workers to real politics. They wanted order, schools, and rights for their people inside the new federal Russia. In July 1970, Orenburg forced all Kazakh Congress leaders united in a political movement called Alazh and prepared a program for autonomy. In the December 5th to 13th, 1970s, Orenburg's Second Congress delegates voted to create a territorial national autonomy known as Alazh, and the government called Alazh Orda. It has 25 members and 10 seats reserved for non-Kazakh communities living among the Kazakhs. The temporary capital was in the Sympalatiks. The name was Alazh city. The key points of the program were the land, water, and the minerals belong to Alazh. Minority rights are guaranteed. Officers should be proportional by nationality. A people militia must be formed, like police and etc. And a constitution should be drafted and then approved all by all Russian Constituent Assembly. Alazh Orda could take loans and negotiate with the neighborhood, like Kyrgyz authorities and etc. On the timing, a roll call showed 33 of intimidated provocation, 40 against, and 3 abstention. So the formal announcement was delayed, while the leader organized security and negotiated with Kazakh or Turkestan and their people among them. In 1980s, in the House of the Civil War in Russia, Alazh opened a Western department and sought recognition from a different regional government. The aim was to protect the population and keep administration and school working. In 1990s to 1920s, Alazh leaders chose cooperation with a Soviet institution, and by late 1990s, they supported Soviet power. In the 90s, 20s, they took part in forming the Kazakh-Kyrgyz SSSR, which carried towards many of their ideas. So there's the former founder of the Alazh Orda, Alixan Bukikhanov, Ahmet Baytursunov, Mirjaqub Tulatov, and etc. They all break a huge role in creating independent Kazakhstan and independent Kazakhstan. So there's the documents that were created in order to create the Alazh autonomy.
The Alazh Orda government tried to create a foundation for an independent state. They created their own admission, army, and education system. The education was top priority in Alazh leaders because they believed that knowledge and culture create strong nation. During the Russian Civil War, Alazh Orda had to make difficult decisions. They cooperated with the White Army, and then later they tried to find agreement with the Bolsheviks so they can save their autonomy.
Despite their efforts, the Alash leaders had a very limited resources. The civil war and pressure from both reds and white made their work very hard. In 1920, the Alash autonomy was dissolved, and instead the Kazakh autonomous Soviet Socialistic Republic was created inside Soviet Russia. Even though it lasted only a short time, the Alash autonomy is very important. It was the first modern attempt of Kazakhs to create their own state. The ideas of Alash, independence, education, and national unity inspired future generations. Today, the leaders of Alash are remembered as the national heroes of Kazakhstan.